Hey, good morning and welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy from the Golden State. Yep, here I am back in Hermosa Beach, and isn't it beautiful? It's so bright this morning. I really thought today would be another one of those gloom doom days, June gloom doom, but it isn't. It's just beautiful outside today. I'm going for a walk after this. It's going to be gorgeous. What an adventure yesterday was. What a day. I'm so tired. You think it was the wine? Maybe it was the wine. Maybe it was the champagne. It seemed like I had bubbly everywhere I went yesterday. The ride in was a little exciting, I'm not going to lie. Not because anything went wrong or anything went right, but yesterday was Reconnect with Old Friends Day, truly. And I spent about an hour, which is little under half of my trip to LA, on the phone. Yeah. Thank goodness for hands free. That's all I can say. Because I got to speak to my friend Toffee in England and play catch up for over an hour and hear about the kids and the grandkids and the job and the family and the place. And I love this woman, and it was just so much fun to play catch up as we've known each other for so many years. She's the one that I've told you about before, where I developed the character, not the English character, but the character of Gloria Resnick, the one who was like the ugly American who just could never be satisfied with anything in England, no matter what I did. It was just ridiculous. Anyway, she loves Gloria Resnick. So we did a little Gloria Resnick on the phone. And then she caught me. Oh, this is so perfect because this is like where it happened, okay, down here at the beach. When I was a kid, I used to work at the Fox Redondo Theater. Oh, man, it was like the place in the South Bay. It was here forever and ever and ever. And Mary Poppins was the movie that was coming, and I was working in the cashier's booth, and I pretended that I was from England and I was visiting, and I told everyone that Daddy owned a tuna cannery in Dorchester, and I was here on holiday to get to find out more about America, and it was just so delightful and so much fun. Anyway, yeah, it was a perfect time, except she busted me. And she told me that Dorchester in England is completely landlocked, and there is no way that Daddy would have had a tuna cannery in Dorchester. So it looks like there's something wrong with the live chat this morning because, wow, I can't seem to get it to light up. So if you're here, I don't even know that you're here with me today. That makes me very sad. But you can tell me afterwards. It's okay. Let's see. Yesterday was the day that I had to Zoom up after tennis, Zoom up to the beach because I was being videotaped, a videotaped interview about Tuvia Preschool. Tuvia Preschool in Redondo Beach was my brainstorm. It was my love. I started it while I was in college and worked on it in graduate school. And I studied all these different kinds of learnings for young children, and then picked and chose what I liked from this one and that one, and added my own stuff and created what I thought was going to be the most perfect preschool in the entire world, especially the idea of teaching to the teachable moment. I mean, it was going to be like the dream preschool of my life. And I got some agreement, and I think I probably told you this story yesterday because I was so excited about going to do this interview. Anyway, I got there at the school, and the shock of it being 50 years since that happened was just amazing. Just 50 years ago, at age 21, I had a dream and that dream is flourishing. And this school is like, 10 times the size that it was, 20 times the size physically and in terms of the number of children. Such a delightful play area. Anyway, that's what I did. And then from there, I went and reconnected with another old friend and sat in her little beach house for another hour and played catch up over there, and then went to a birthday party for my son-in-law. Now, when I say birthday party, don't worry about super spreading. Not my thing. You know that. It was just my daughter's son-in-law, my grandson, one other adult, and 2 children. And those were all members of their COVID pod. So it was very safe. But homemade pizza, oh, so good, so good. Had such a good time. Laughed and sang and played and hugged and kissed kids like crazy because their pod is my pod, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And Maya and Elliot were there. And hi to Maya and Elliot, in case you check in on Grandy. I'm their Grandy too now. Anyway, that was fun. And then from there, I came back over to Hermosa Beach, California, to Shay, Mike, and Katie, and had the most glorious night's sleep. Their bed is so comfortable, their guest bed. And here I am. And that's the way it worked. And let's see, what's today? It's International Coaching Week. That's pretty cool because, hey, I'm an international coach. You know what I mean? I've been coaching people on and off for at least 20 years already. And currently I'm spending way more time with you than I am with my coaching. But I still do coaching when people request it. And I have a few clients here and there who, call me up periodically and say, hey, I'm working on a project and I need an accountability coach. Can you hold my feet to the fire? And then that's what I do. I love doing that. I call myself an accountability and mindset coach. First, we get your goals all set. Then I do what I need to do to hold you accountable for keeping your word about how you were going to reach them. And finally, if you have a few little spots along the way where you can't quite get it together, then my job is to hold your feet to the fire and talk to you about what it's going to take to get this job done. So I'm a mindset coach at that point and an accountability coach to figure out what's between you and getting it done. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that in goal setting right before we finish. But it's also garden meditation day. So if you have a garden, this would be a good day to just go sit quietly out in the garden. Maybe make a little Zen garden somewhere. We had sand put in our backyard. I know, we live in Bermuda dunes, so we wanted our own dunes in the backyard. So we put sand in one section, kind of like our own little beach without the water. But I want to get one of those rakes and maybe make it into a Zen garden for part of the time. That would be kind of a nice place to go sit and just be, you know what I mean? What else? It's 2 different colored shoes day. Have you ever done that by accident? It's so embarrassing. Unless, of course, you declare it 2 different colored shoes day and you tell everybody that you did it on purpose, right? But sometimes aren't you like grabbing in the closet kind of in the dark or in a little bit of a foggy haze and you accidentally put on 2 different shoes? Yeah. And then you let people know that you have another pair just like that at home because you like it so much. It's also Paranormal Day. I am so a proponent of the paranormal. Yeah, I am. I like to tell people that I'm a witch, but I'm a good witch. Seriously. I commune with hummingbirds. I get messages. I told you I name the chickens not by what I want to name them, but what they tell me their name is. Yeah, I'm a good witch, like Glenda. True story. Happy birthday to Bing Crosby. Ba 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 boom. Ba 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 da ba da ba da boom. Um, James Brown, the godfather of soul. Just like 2, 3 days ago, we were watching an old rerun of the Ed Sullivan Show, and James Brown was on. Wow, the James Brown from back then. He did very little singing and a whole lot of screaming. That's all I can tell you. But it was awesome. It was truly awesome. I remember one day, husband and children and I were in New York, driving down the street, and next thing I know, husband pulls the car over to the side, rolls down my window, and screams, "James, what's happening?" And it was indeed James Brown walking down the street. It was so cool. I mean, come on, seriously. Seriously. Can you imagine just driving down the street and there's James Brown? I love when things like that happen. Yeah. That happened to me with Jackie Mason in New York too. I was walking down the street and who do I pass but Jackie Mason? Okay, but I'm not going to lie to you. I really love Jackie Mason, but I was way too embarrassed and uncomfortable to say anything at all. I just stared at him and stared at him and stared at him, and I never said a word at all. That doesn't happen to me very often. No, it doesn't. This is in 1937. Gone with the Wind won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. Have you read the book? You know, it's like this thick. I've read the book, and the book is fabulous. And the movie definitely has its moments, but it is the longest, most depressing movie. I remember about 3 years ago, the local movie theater where I used to live used to have once a month they would have some classic movie and they would have it on the big screen and it was like $5 or something and so Gone with the Wind was the movie. So I went and picked up Fritzy because she was living in a home near me and she was still in really good shape back then. No dementia. I mean, you know, very little dementia. And I picked her up and we went to see the movie and it's one of those theaters, you know, oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've been to a movie theater, but where the seats recline almost all the way back and the feet come up. So you totally feel like you're like laying in bed watching a movie. She didn't like that, by the way. I was very not okay with her. She did not recline her chair at any point. Fritzy did not do that. But she did love her popcorn and her bonbons. Yes, I think that's why she went to the movies with me. Anyway, we were watching Gone with the Wind and watching Gone with the Wind and watching and watching and watching and watching and watching and watching. And I decided that I don't need to see it again. No, I would watch excerpts. Like I would watch the part where they say, "I don't know nothing about birthing no babies, Miss Scarlett." That might be my favorite line because the other lines are like such classic lines. It's like, whatever. Anyway, it's too long. It's just way too long. No human being should have to sit that long. And it's so depressing. Yeah, I forgot how depressing that movie was. So I'm over it. I'm over it. In 1960, the Anne Frank Museum house opened in Amsterdam. I went there. I waited in line for probably 2 hours to get inside. It was worth every minute I waited. Totally worth every minute I waited. What a moving experience it was. To see how tiny that space really was. To get the whole history of Anne Frank. It was pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. But yeah, if you're going to be in Amsterdam, you might want to make reservations ahead of time because then you still have to stand in line, but at least you're assured of what time you're going in. So they had one line of reservations and one line of people who just, you know, if there was room, they would let you in. So just a little hint, if you're going to Amsterdam, make your reservations early. In 1971, this was like an unusual day. There were, get this, 13,000 anti-war protesters arrested. 13,000 arrested. How many Capitol police officers could it take to do that? And how many politicians does it take to change a light bulb? You know, the old joke. In 1986, the number one song was Robert Palmer's Addicted to Love. I might as well tell you I'm addicted to love. I probably got the words wrong. Doesn't matter. I am not a huge Robert Palmer fan, but that song, I love that song. And I want to look like those slick-backed women with their long legs and their black dresses and their bright red lipstick. Can you picture it now? Picture me doing that. Yeah, no, not so much, right? Okay, what can I say? 1952 was the first time the Kentucky Derby was televised. And I guess we're back to Derby time again. Maybe next year the Derby parties will start happening again. Who knows? Okay. Hurry up and wait. That is not the word art for today, but it's kind of my thought for today besides the word art. I did a piece of word art some time ago that said, you don't have to have patience, but it sure makes the waiting easier. Think about that. You don't have to relax while you're waiting. You don't have to be chill, but it sure makes the misery of waiting better. Can you see the ocean right now? And you're looking at it through double glass, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. You know that it's already filled with surfers. Yeah. We're in California. Woo, surfing USA. Anyway, be patient today. There's going to be people who are going to make you wait. Be patient. Be a person who waits by choice and use the time to its best advantage. And what does that mean? There are always things you can do while you're waiting in a line, on the phone. Multitask. You can do it. Make today special that way. No getting upset about waiting. All right? I hate waiting, usually. But now I am learning to use my waiting time, even if it's just to play a game on your phone, but totally enjoy the game and make waiting like a special time instead of a hated time. You can do it. Word art today was how to build character. And I requested that you share this idea with your children, but share it with your friends too, but in a nice way, because this is really more of a learning experience. First thing you do is you set goals. Set goals. Decide the way you want life to be. Decide in advance how you want things to go. Set your goals. I can help you with that. But then the second part is even more important. The second part is do whatever it takes to get those goals to fruition. Make it happen. Get into action. Do something about it. There's something about saying the way you want it to go and being so committed to the way you want it to go that you will do whatever it takes to have it happen. Yeah, that's commitment. That's commitment. Okay. From the Golden State and the beach, this is Sandye saying, have a sip and a smile. And guess what? When I wake up tomorrow, this is what I'm going to be looking at one more day. Going to have a shot in my hand tomorrow. Yeah. But that's why I'm here, right? See you tomorrow. Good morning, my friends.